Good morning, traders. Welcome to the cryptocurrency weekly outlook. I hope you all had a wonderful week. We are still looking at the current correction on the cryptocurrencies, and we have been, most people are still asking, when is this bearish correction going to end? Or is it just the correction, or is the currency market now just going for a crash? Right, so that's what we're going to be looking at. We're going to be looking at the current structure and look at what the forecast is going into the next week. Right, before we get started, if you'd like to contact us, check out the contact details under the description of all our videos. You'll find the link to our website. We have got our next live course starting on the 5th of July. It is a 10-day course where we cover the basic and advanced Elliott-Wave training. The Elliott-Wave theory, guys, covers any market. It does not matter whether it is the cryptocurrencies, it is the indices, the stocks, any market can be traded using the wave theory. That is why we give that the focus on the course, so you can use the strategy in any market, whichever market you prefer to trade. So you can purchase the course on the website. Make note that we've got a special that will be running later on in the day. For you to get access to that, make an inquiry via the global chat on the website. This chat box here, you'll be attended as soon as possible. So this way you'll get the quickest response. Right, so this is where we are, and we will be looking for that 10-day course, 5 to the 15th of July. You will get immediately get the recorded course as soon as you purchase it on the website. So that means when we start with the live one, you've already watched the course. Right, let's start with the week's analysis. So just before we finished the Forex webinar earlier on, somebody asked, what is the correlation between Bitcoin and gold? So I have not really made that comparison, but I just pulled out the chart for gold over the last 2 years, as well as the daily chart for Bitcoin over the last 2 years. And the correlation is glaring, as you can see. The top chart is Bitcoin and the bottom chart is gold. Now, what do you see? It is right in your face what you see, what the correlation is. So we've had this correction from about the beginning of 2019 on Bitcoin to about the start of 2020. What happened with gold? Again, from this, let's just put that on the same time frame here. Let me just put that on the same time frame. Right. So we've got that correction here. I want them to be both on the same time frame. So let's have a look here. So we've got that correction. We've got that move to the upside. This was May 2019. So let's have a look at this one here. We have been trending up here. We have been trending up here. So this correction here on Bitcoin did not have any effect on gold. So we've had a bit of a correction, but gold kept trending. So if you look at the two structures, there isn't really a clear correlation between the two. But looking at the last move, if you look at the current move, the correction or the crash that most people are calling on the cryptocurrencies, most people are calling this a crash, and you look at the current correction on gold, there is clear correlation just at that point, but not over the long term. The correction is not over the long term. So currently we have been looking at the correct correlation in the last move. So that is all that I'm seeing there, not necessarily that over time there's correlation, a direct correlation between gold and Bitcoin. Right, so let's have a look at the market, for the crypto market for the week. We'll start again with Bitcoin and what we've been seeing for the last couple of days since the so-called crash. Now let's go now back to one chart. We're just going to look at Bitcoin now. Let's go back to one chart only. Right, so this is the move that has happened. We have been looking at this. Now we've been asking ourselves, is this now going to be a pullback and continuation to the upside? That is what most people are hoping for, especially the long-term holders on the cryptocurrencies. But for the last couple of days, we've just been focusing on this corrective structure to see what the next possible move is going to be. So we have been tracking this move for move. This is a daily chart. So last couple of weeks, we have been looking at Bitcoin as follows: a move to the upside. We looked at this to have been a pullback here as follows. So let's pull back here with the purple. I'm on the daily chart. I'm going to go to the 4-hour as well. So this is Bitcoin pulling back here. Now, if we look at the 4-hour, we look at this as a 3-wave structure here internally. And we were looking for this to have come down here. We were looking for this to bounce up. The bounce had already started, but we pulled back. But we are still looking for this to go back to about 42 level on the daily. So if you remember, if you can watch the previous 3 videos, we have been looking for Bitcoin to play out all these moves. From here, we expected the downside, we expected this to push up, and we expected this to come down, and we expected this to bounce. Now, 1, 2, 3 waves have already played out, and the 4th one was about to play out here. We are still expecting that to play out to about 42,000, but that does not mean that that is over for the bearish correction. Coming here, we'll still expect the last move to the downside before we get a deeper one to the upside. But as I keep saying, we take it one wave at a time. Let's go to the detail on this on the 4-hour. So this is the 4-hour, and these are the structures. If those of you that have been tracking this, you remember that this was our first entry here for downside, expecting this to come down and expecting this to make a move to the upside. So we're simply looking for this structure to play out. But structures don't play individually. You can see that this structure is playing within this bigger corrective structure here. So this one is the bigger corrective structure here in the yellow. That's why we expected that this was going to be the first move here as follows. And we're expecting a bounce to the upside. So currently, that bounce to the upside had already started, but we've made a pullback. So we are now still expecting Bitcoin to continue pushing to the upside. So that's the expectation in the next coming session. Just be mindful that this has now retraced a little bit too deep. So we'll be looking for this structure to confirm here. So this has been too deep. If it gets only to about this level, this means that this is a 3-wave corrective structure, and this is still going to continue to the downside. In that case, that means this correction was over here already. Okay, so watch out for the next week here. So we'll be looking for this level here on Bitcoin to see if we're going to continue pushing to the upside. If we do test the 42,000, that means we are only going to reverse from here. Okay, so those are the 2 possibilities here. Either we have already completed, or this structure is still going to be in play and reverse only there. But either way, the bias is still the same. That is Bitcoin. So for the rest of the cryptocurrencies, the structures are very clear. The structure itself is very clear, but again, we need to invalidate these lower time corrective structures. This is Ethereum now. Look at Ethereum. We're looking for Ethereum to do this. We're looking for this to take the low here and give us a bounce. Are we going to get that bounce? But because again, here we've got this deeper correction here, this needs to be invalidated because this can still give us one more down. And if it gives us one more down, we can still get one more up here. So we need to invalidate these smaller time corrective structures here. So what will we be looking for if we get a bounce here? If we get a bounce here on Ethereum, the structure is going to be very clear as follows. 1, 2, 3, pull back. We get a move back here and we continue to the upside. Again, I keep saying we don't worry so much about the moves forecasted way ahead. We worry about the next immediate move because this is where it is critical, and this is where we use the indicator to confirm, are we going to get this upside, or is this going to give us a setup for downside? So that's the critical area that we are in, but we are more likely, we are favoring this move here, this alternative here on Ethereum. Litecoin, exactly the same as Ethereum. So Litecoin looks to have made all the 5 waves here, a pullback, a 3 waves down. Are we going to get a bounce here? Similarly, we're expecting this to pull back here to around these levels. Whether this has ended, the bigger correction is still going to give us this. Doesn't matter for now. What matters is where we are currently. We need to confirm here if we're going to get this one to the upside. And that is the move that we are favoring for now. We've got the 3 wave here within the B wave. We've got this one taking the low here, looking like we're getting a bounce here. And that is the structure that we're looking for here with this ABC corrective structure. Okay, so looking very good on Litecoin as well, but we are still bearish, but there's still a possibility for a bigger corrective structure. Ripple had made what looks like a three-wave corrective structure is still the same structure, but this, if you look at that, we've made a bounce that looked like it was going to recover after the three waves, but what we're expecting here with Ripple is the same as the rest of the cryptocurrencies. We could be making a bounce back to around those levels and make a push down, more push to the downside and then upside. Again, we are at this critical level where we need to confirm. Are we going to get a bounce, or is this going to continue to the downside here? This is the critical area where we are in now. Again, we still favor this, but it does not matter. What matters is what we're going to confirm here with the indicator. WXY corrective structure is what we're going to be looking at in the bigger corrective structure. Dogecoin, everybody's talking about Dogecoin. What is happening with Dogecoin? So Dogecoin actually looks good if it plays out the structure that we are looking at. Now, if you look at Dogecoin, the crash that has happened with the rest of the altcoins. So with Doge, it looks like it has just made a three-wave corrective structure as follows. And if this is all the correction on Doge, that is the move that we will expect. But again, we need to confirm here. We need to get a trade set up here for us to confirm that we're going to break out of this corrective structure here on Dogecoin. Okay, but this has to track the rest of the cryptocurrencies. So here's another possibility that this is 3, 3, and 3. Let me just show you that structure without the rest. 3, 3, and a bounce here. So the bounce here, this will be similar to the rest of the cryptocurrencies structure that we focused. We may get this, and then only then will be over there. So there are two possibilities there. Either way, we are looking for overall continuation to the upside on the cryptocurrencies, right? ADA. Now looking at ADA, ADA is looking pretty strong. We've got a move here. Let's use this one here. So we've got a move down here on ADA with the rest of the attempted a recovery here in 3 waves, comes down here in 3, but all we are seeing is a 3 waves corrective structure here. We're expecting ADA to push a little bit higher. The structure, bigger structure we're looking at is this one here for more upside, a WXY corrective structure. Okay, so that is what we're looking at here. So WXY, so there's a difference between ABC and WXY. If you want to see that difference, look out for the listed video under the description, how to trade WXY or WXYXZ like a pro. It'll give you a good idea of how we look at those corrective structures. And lastly, I'm just going to go through a link. Let's look at Dash as well. So all of them, as you can see, all the cryptocurrencies are currently at these critical levels where we're expecting a bounce. Are we going to get those bounces? That is where we are currently. We're looking for that. Move to the upside. That is on Dash, Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash, you can see similarly, that is what we're looking at here. If they don't push to the upside and instead only make a 3-wave corrective structure, and at this level we see continuation to the downside, it's going to invalidate that upside. Okay, so that is Bitcoin Cash. Binance, let's have a look at Binance as well. Binance against US dollar. Let's have a look here. Where's Binance? So Binance looking pretty strong. Binance with this move here. A move to the downside, a pullback in 3, a move down in 3. Are we going to get this to push to the upside like that? So those are the critical areas that we are in. But if you look at Binance in the lower degree here, we've made a push to the upside, we've made a pullback. If it makes a 3, that means that the downside move is not over. We can still go and retest the low here and give us a structure like this. Right, and lastly, I'm going to look at Link. Let's have a look at Link. All of them have got similar structures. We've got to move to the downside. We've got 3 waves. We've got 3 waves. We're looking for a bounce here. Okay, so WXY corrective structure here on Link. Are we going to get this one to bounce up to this level? It's all here. They are all at a critical level here. We need to look at how this structure is going to play out here, whether we get only a 3-wave structure here. Right, so upside is not yet confirmed. We're looking for this structure on all the cryptocurrencies. That's all for this week, guys. We'll see you again same time next week. You can look out for our Forex, commodities, and indices video right on the channel. Have a great week and trade responsibly. Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.